So you see these women and they've formed a friendship, a bond. You could fathom in your mind or rifle in your mind that they could very well possibly be a family, or they could be friends, co-workers. Well, a lot of times you'll find some really good relationships with or among black females, and with having a lot of similarities other than just culture, there'll be a lot of support, and a lot of it comes from friends and family. And so, with that being said, most of your black churches have a lot of strong female women of color supporting them. And it could be for a number of reasons: to volunteer, to help out with some of the amenities of the church, different departments, creating bulletins, cleaning the church, making meals for church members, going out and helping other people in the community. So, a lot of energy and a lot of time is spent in doing a lot of things and a lot of good things for the community and for these churches. But a lot of that time and energy is not given back to some of these people that put forth a lot of effort. And male and female alike will participate in various church activities, and it could be, conducting the choir, singing in the choir, helping out with choir events, traveling to other churches, and being supportive of the people that are in the church and the people in the community. So, church is supposed to be a place of refuge, a place where people, if they have problems, which most people will have problems if you're human and you're living, reality is you're going to have some kinds of problems, whether they're small or big. So a lot of times people will go to the church for some con- consultation or some help or words of advice or encouragement. And a lot of that is through reading scriptures and through, some of the people that you feel that you can trust and confide in. But more recently, we found that there's been a lot of questionable issues involving Bible scriptures. Um, Even what is the Bible? Who wrote the Bible? Is it just one book? Is it even true? Bible, spirituality, religion, what is it all? And there's been a lot of awake people who have asked some really valid questions as to why all of this has happened, and it even goes back as far as slavery. So you'll have like people that question, well, why do people act the way they do in churches? Do they really believe it, or is it just show? Are people being deceived? So a lot of times, like, you'll have these churches where a lot of black women will put a lot of time and energy into the churches, and they do a lot of praying, and could be for a number of reasons. But a lot of times you'll have women who will spend all of their money, and it's called tithes and offering, and they'll put a lot of money and time into these churches, and sometimes you won't get the same in return. There's some churches that have a little less drama and others that have a whole lot of drama. So you'll have hypocrites in the black community, plenty of them, who will proclaim to be Christian, saved, sanctified, filled with the Holy Ghost. They'll talk about their churches and all the different events, and talk about their pastor. And so I know of a young woman, well, she's not that young, but I know of a woman who will vibrantly and without haste, she makes mention of her pastor. And I've heard this from several people where they put a lot of energy and a lot of talking in about how great their pastor is. So there are some people that are extremely loyal, but to what degree? And with women, loyalty can come with a price. So you have had scandals that have happened in some of these churches where women will feel as though that they have to participate in extramarital affairs to go along with what their pastor is saying. Sometimes they're having affairs with their pastor. So I know of a woman who talked about picking her pastor up from the airport, doing a lot of things that you would think a couple would do or a married couple would do. But, I thought, from the way she talked about this guy, that he was single, but he in fact was married. So it sounds like there may be some relationship going on the side with this pastor and her, because she's doing a lot of extra, you know, ex- excursionary visits where, I'm picking him up, and usually, the pickups are late, 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 late. So that was a photo of Eddie Long. So if you haven't heard about the story of Eddie Long, you might want to read about it. So that was one particular event that didn't sit well with the black community. So we see the Holy Bible, it's used sometimes often as a weapon to validate people being saved and being, spiritual and being upright. And so a lot of times they'll finger point and look at other people and blame them for all of their wrongdoings without looking in the mirror at themselves. So this church here was a burned church. It was a Hopewell Baptist Church in Mississippi. And what happened with this church here, it's a historically black church, and it was burned, and on the side was painted "Vote Trump," and it was painted and scrolled on the side. And this happened in a city called Greenville in Mississippi. So Mayor Errick D. Simmons called the attack on the century-old Hopewell Missionary Baptist Church a heinous, hateful, and cowardly act, which is being investigated as a possible hate crime. This act is direct assault on people's right to freely worship, he said. We will not rest until the culprits found and fully prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. So that was partly in what the article stated about the incident. So I didn't really get back to whether or not they actually found who was responsible, but the FBI was notified of the incident, and there was, which was also the incident was investigated by the state fire marshal's office, the Mississippi Bureau of Investigation, and local authorities as well. So it even with this incident here, if you look at some of the tragedies that have happened and some of the hypocrisy, even in the black church, there's hypocrisy among black people who pretend to be something that they're not. And then they look at other people, and some of the things they should be worried about, they're not, such as these type of crosses, which is the same, really the same type of cross that we just seen on the Holy Bible. And when you think about the historical issues surrounding slavery, that's where the Bible came from.